In today's video, we're going to be using HTML and CSS to create this simple web page for Post Malone's Stoney album. So basically, we've got a little bit of information about 14 tracks that we can find on the album, and it's all done up inside a table. Today's lesson is all about making tables using HTML and then styling them up using CSS. To get started today, you're going to need to go into your account and make a new folder called Post Malone. And inside of that Post Malone folder, there's two things you're going to need. You're going to need this little info text document, and you'll get that out of Curriculum Drive. It's basically got all the information you need to type into your web page about the album. And you're also going to need this images folder created. So make yourself an images folder, and inside of it, you'll need a copy of the Stoney album cover. Alrighty, so once you've got those folders made and you've got all the files in the right spot, you can open up brackets, and we're going to get started on making this web page. So let's make a new document. So head up to File and select New. And before we start typing in the document today, we're just going to go to File and Save As, and we're going to save this document into our folder that we just created. So look for your Post Malone folder and open it up, and you can give it whatever name you want really. I might just call it Post_Malone. Don't forget, you need to put .html on the end of it. Okay, you need to tell the computer that you're making a web page, and the way we do that is we put .html on the end of the file name. Once you've got .html there, click Save, and you're now ready to start creating your HTML document. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is just tell the computer that this is a HTML document we're making, so we put in the doc type tag at the top. So doc type HTML. Then we start our web page with the HTML tags. Remember, brackets will automatically give you a closing tag, so just push that down by pressing enter a few times. And then we can start the head section. Okay, remember, all web pages have a head section at the top and a body section below that. And in the head section, we're going to include a title. Today's title is simply going to say Post Malone Stoney. Okay, that's all we're going to put in the title section for now. We'll come back and link up our CSS style sheet in the head section a bit later on, but for now, that is our head section all done, just the title. Now if we save that up and just preview that, I'll just load up my preview. Okay, you can see that that title does nothing on our web page in particular apart from name our tab at the top. So it now says Post Malone Stoney at the top. That is our title up there. Now that we're getting into the body section, that's this main part of the web page. Okay, so now we can start making things appear in the main section of our page. So outside of the head tags, we're going to create the body tags now. And inside of our body, the first thing we're going to create is a table. And we make a table by simply writing the tag table. Okay. Once we've got the table tags written, the first thing we're going to add to our table is a new row. Okay, so we're just going to write TR. TR stands for table row. When you put a TR in, it creates one row for the table. Okay, and what I want you to put inside of that table row is some TD tags. TD stands for table data. If you want to start adding data like pictures and writing into your table, you need to put them in TD tags. Okay, you've got to tell the computer you're adding data into your table. And TD basically adds a column to your table as well. And you'll see how that works in just a moment. So what I'm going to write in is Post Malone. The very first row in my table is just going to be a nice big heading at the top that says Post Malone Stoney. If we save that and preview it, this is how it's looking at the moment. Okay, there is a table there. You just can't see it at the moment because we haven't got borders on it. But inside that table, we've got the heading that says Post Malone. I might actually get it to look more like a heading by wrapping it up in H1 tags. Okay, so I'll put some H1 tags around Post Malone, and that will make it look a little bit bigger. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for there. That's the first row of our table done. So that TR is our table row, and inside of our table row we've got the first bit of data that we need. Okay. When we go down below that, we're going to make another TR, so another table row. So this is the second row of our table now. Alright, the next thing I'm going to put in is a picture of the album cover. Okay, so we're going to put in TD tags again because we're adding more data to our table. So the TD stands for table data, and we're just going to put in a picture. So the way we do that is inside pointy brackets, right? img space src, so that's image source, equals, and you can just click on the images folder and then click on the stony.jpg picture and then close your pointy bracket up. Okay. One thing I did forget there, just inside that pointy bracket, you better jump back in there and write in the alternate text. Okay, so just describe what this picture is. For those people that can't load pictures on their web page, you need to describe what this picture is. So just say picture of Post Malone's Stony album. Okay, we'll just press Ctrl S to save it and we'll have a quick preview of that. Right, so that's looking pretty good. Obviously the picture's way too big, but we'll resize that later in our CSS. Okay, so far so good. We've got 2 rows in our table. One with a heading, one with a picture. Let's keep going. We're going to add some more rows into our table now. So I'm going to open up a new table row. And inside this table row, what we're going to do is we're going to replace the TD tags with TH tags. TH stands for table header, and inside the table header we're going to write the word track number. Okay, I'm going to go down to the next line. I'm going to do that again. So we're going to put in TH tags again. This time we're going to write name, and finally we're going to add in some more TH tags and write time. Now what this has done inside this table row, so inside the 3rd row of our table, we've just added 3 columns in. Okay, that's what all these different THs are. TH stands for table header. So it does the same thing as the TD tag, still puts data into our table, it just makes them bold and centered, that's all. So when I save this up and have a look, you can see now we've got our track number, our name, and our time. Okay, it's not very neat just yet, but we have got 3 columns in our table. This is the first column that contains the heading, the picture, and track number. Then we've got 2 columns over the right hand side here with the name of the song and the time that the song runs for. Alrighty. So let's keep adding some more data to this table and you'll see that it starts to come together. Whoops. This is what I'm looking for. Alright. So we'll add another table row in. This is the 4th row of our table now. I'm going to go back to TD tags now because I don't want my text bold and centered anymore. And what I'm going to write in for the first one is just the number 1. That's the track number, so track number 1. Then we come down, whoops, to the next column. We want the name of the first song, so it's Broken Whiskey Glass. And then finally, we need to write in one more set of TD tags and how long this track goes for. It goes for 3 minutes 53, and I'm getting all this data from this little table just here. Okay, so track 1, Broken Whiskey Glass, 3 minutes 53. Right. When I save that up and have a look, you can see now we're starting to get some information into our table. It's very ugly at the moment, very squished, but don't worry about that. We're going to make it look pretty later on, remember, with the CSS. So I'm going to add in a few more rows to this table. So, add in, oops, pushing all the wrong buttons, another table row. Inside this table row, we'll add some table data. This time we're adding in track 2 for the first column. The name of track 2 is called Big Lie. And the length of time that that goes for is 3 minutes 27. Let's go down and make another new row. Same again, we'll put in our TD tags and we'll put in number 3 because this is going to be the 3rd track on his album. It's called Deja Vu, and the running time for Deja Vu is 3 minutes 54. Let's save that by pressing Ctrl S and having a look now. You can start to see our table coming together. Got the track numbers down the left side, got the names, and we've got the times coming in. I'm not going to do every single track on his album in this video. Okay. It would just take way too long. I'm sure you don't need to see me doing the same thing over and over again. Hopefully you get the idea. I'll do one more here for you. So track number 4 this is going to be. Put in our TD tag again for the name. This will be no option. And then the third column, the running time is 2 minutes 59. Alright, and that's going to do me for this part of the tutorial. I want you to keep going and add in all 14 songs. I know it's going to get a little bit tedious, but it is very good practice and it'll get your muscle memory up. Okay, so what we need to make sure is we've got at the end closing tags for the table, the body, and the HTML. Might just bring this up as well. There we go. Let's save it and have a look at what we've got so far. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a table going on. What I want to do now is style this up to make it look good. Okay, because at the moment it looks very ugly and it's quite hard to read. So we need to create a CSS style sheet that we can use to make this look a bit more professional. So we're going to go up to the File menu and make a new document. And before we start typing, we'll just quickly save it. Make sure you go into your Post Malone album and just call it style.css. Remember to put .css on the end so the computer knows you're making a style sheet. And click Save. Alright, let's link up the HTML file and the CSS file so that they are connected, so any changes we make in the style sheet now will be reflected in the HTML document. So back in your HTML document, scroll at the top and find the head section and just click below the title. Let's put in the dash that I didn't need to. And what we're going to be writing is in pointy brackets link rel equals style sheet, and then href basically means where is this file saved. So if you write href and in quotation marks, just write style.css, close your pointy brackets off. What that has done now, just that line there, has linked our style sheet up to this HTML file. So save your HTML and now head back over to your style sheet. And we'll start to make our HTML page look good. First thing I want to do is change the background color. So I'm just going to write HTML and then open up some curly braces. I'm going to change the background color. And I'm going to use a hexadecimal value. I'm going to write in 1D, 1D, 1D. Put a semicolon at the end to say that I've finished that line of code. If I hover over that, you'll see that it is 1D, 1D, 1D is a very dark color. It's not quite black, but it's a very dark grey. If I save that up and have a preview, that's how it looks. Okay, so what I've done there is I've written in the HTML tag, which means back over here in my HTML, it looks inside the HTML tags, and everything inside them is going to be formatted with whatever I put in these curly braces. Okay, so we just changed the background color, and that affected the whole page. The other thing I want to do is just put some padding in. Now padding is just a bit of breathing room around the outside of the page. So if I put in 5 pixels of padding, that basically just pushes everything in 5 pixels from the top, the bottoms, and the sides. Okay, so that just means my text and pictures aren't hugging the edge of the page. There's a little bit of breathing room between them. That's all I'm going to do for the HTML styling. The next thing I'm going to style up is the body tags. Okay, so back over here, everything inside the body tags now, so that's pretty much most of our content, we're going to style that up. So in the body tags, we're going to style up the font by changing the font family to sans serif. Remember, sans serif fonts are the easiest fonts to read on a computer screen. They're the letters without little caps or the little feet on the end of them. Next thing I'm going to do is change the font size to 1 EM, which makes it the most suitable size for whatever screen it's been viewed on. And then we're going to adjust the line height to 1.5 EM. So we've got in 1.5 line spacing now. So we've got a bit of breathing room between each line of text. That makes it easier to read. Even though you can't really see it through that dark background, I can see that just, and it is looking pretty good. That's all I'm going to style up for the body section. The next thing that I want to style up is the table. So let's write the word table in and open up some curly braces. So now everything inside the table section, so it's all this part here, is going to be affected. Alright, so what we want to do is we want to change the background color of the table first of all, and we're going to change it to white. Save that and have a look. You'll see now we've got our table coloured in white while we've still got this dark grey background colour out here. Some of the things we want to do to the table, we want to align the text in the centre of each cell. We want to make the table width 60% of the entire page. What else can we do? We'll also centre the table in the middle of the page, and we simply do that by writing margin auto. And if we just save that and have a look so far, it's looking pretty good. Next thing I want to do is make all these columns the same width as one another. So the way we do that is we simply write table-layout and make it fixed. Alright, so that's looking pretty good for the table. You can see down here now all our columns are the exact same width, so it's starting to look a little bit neater now. Alright, back up the top here. Outside of the table, the next thing I want to style up is the TH section. Okay, so that is just these little bits here. Okay, the track number, the name, and the time. These bold bits just here is what we want to style up individually from the rest. So what we're going to do, back in the style sheet, is we'll write in the TH tag. And all we want to do is change the background color. So just write the word background. Again, I'm going to put in a hexadecimal code, so I'm going to write hashtag 96E590. And if I hover over that, you'll see it's this light green kind of color. Okay, and if you preview that, it just affected that one row. Right, so that looks good. As I go through here, remember semicolons needed at the end of each line. I'm going to keep reminding you of that. The semicolons are just there to say, hey, I've finished this line of code. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to colour in every second row of my table a different colour. Just a light shade of grey or something like that. Just to break up each row in the table. So what we do is we write in TR, which stands for table row, colon, and then we write nth dash child, and in brackets we write odd. So basically every odd row, every odd numbered row in our table is going to be coloured up whatever colour I tell it to. So the colour I want to make it is hashtag F2, F2, F2. A semicolon at the end. If you hover over that, you'll see it's a very, very light grey. If we save it and have a look, you'll see there's just a very light grey now on every second row in our table. Alright, so that looks good. The next thing we might do is, we might style up that image, make it a bit smaller. So let's style up the image tag. Remember, back over here we put in this image. Okay, so we're just styling the image tag. So we write image, and we simply want to make the width 250 pixels. That should be a good size, and it will automatically adjust the height. That's pretty good. You can see a little bit of a white gap below this photo, but not at the top. So what I might do there is just put in some padding dash top. So that means just above the photo we'll put in a little bit of padding. We might make it about 5 pixels. You can see now I've got a little white gap between there and the header, which is good. Matches the bottom of it. Alright. Another thing I might do, this H1 header up the top here, I might style it up. It's a little bit boring at the moment. So let's write in H1. Remember, back in our HTML, H1 is this section just here. So we're just styling up what's in between the H1 tags. So just Post Malone Stoney. What can we do to that? So down the bottom, H1, open some curly braces. I might make the colour white. That will change the colour of the text to white. Might change the size of the font. So font size to 3 EM. That means it's triple its usual size. I might make it uppercase, so I'll just do text transform and select uppercase. And I'll also center it, so text align as center. Alright, I'll save that up. Let's have a look at it now. Alright, doesn't look great, and there's a reason for that. At the moment, that Post Malone heading and also this picture are sitting in column 1. Where I want these is actually over here in the middle of our table. So what we're going to have to do is just merge these columns together. Okay, so at the moment there's 3 different rows, three different columns in that first row. There's also 3 different columns here in the second row. We just want to join all those columns together to make one big row. So we're going to need to go back to our HTML for this. Okay, and I want you to find, you might just start with the heading section, the Post Malone Stoney one. What we're going to do is inside the TD tag here, the table data tag, we're going to put in a space and we're going to write colspan equals, quotation marks, right, 3. What that does is it spans that first column, which had the name Post Malone Stoney in it, and it now spans it across 3 columns, like this. Okay, so it's merged all those cells together, and we've just got one big row now that spans across 3 columns. We want to do the same for this picture. Okay, so in the TD tag here, we'll just write colspan, which just stands for column span. Colspan equals 3. Save it, and you've now got your picture centered in the table as well. Alrighty, so that's looking good. One thing I don't like though is this header. Okay, we need to make the background dark across the top here so we can see this text stand out like that. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our HTML here, and I just want to style up this row. Okay, if I was to style up the TR tags over here, I'll show you what would happen. If I go TR and open up the curly braces and I change the background that I want the header to be. So alright, 157 215, and this will be a dark green kind of color. This is the color I want that first row in my table to look like. Okay, so that'll be this one here. I want to style up these TR tags. We're going to have an issue. Okay, this is the issue. Got all sorts of green going in weird places. Alright, so what I want to do then in my HTML is I want to give this table row up here a unique name. Okay, and that way I can just format that table row individually. So what I'm going to do is in this TR here, I'm going to write TR class equals, and in quotation marks I'll just write header. Alright, so now this row has a unique name called header. So if I just style up this table row header, none of these other rows will be affected. So I'll show you what that looks like in the CSS. We write tr.header. Okay, and that just knows we're going to style up that one row called header, and it makes that top row green. Alrighty, so that was pretty straightforward. I don't think there's too much else we can do to this. It looks just like the original did, so what I might do is I'll leave it there. The last thing you need to do is simply just go back to the HTML file, and you need to add in all the different tracks on the album. So you'll need to keep adding in table rows with 3 columns. So you'll add in TR, oops, and you'll add in a few TDs, so TD for the first column, this will be track number 5, TD for the next column, the name of it is cold, and it goes for 428. So we add in one final column, 428. Alright, and that will put the 5th row into our table. Let's go have a look. There it is there. Alright, so you need to keep going all the way down to track number 14. It's going to take you a little while, but as I said before, very good practice for you to create a table. Once you've got that done, make sure you've saved it all up and you show the teacher, and that will do you for this video.